Ladies and gentlemen, I want to talk to you about dashboards. I want to talk to you about original equipment dashboards, which are revered by customers. Yet there are a handful of customers who want some different options. Not everyone's a purist. I am happy to accommodate everybody. In this case, it is a standard Defender dashboard. The customer did want to upgrade the gauges, of which we installed our custom gauges. And this is a beautiful standard Defender dash. Absolutely nothing wrong with it. It's aesthetics and preference. In this case, it really is nice, right down to the wheel. And the knob accents. I mean, it just looks great. But I do want to show you what happens when a customer says he'd like to change it up. So we're going to walk over to Defender 110, which had a similar dashboard, of which we are now revising and installing a Puma style dash, but we'll be customizing that Puma dash from the original equipment. So let's go take a walk over there. All right, so this build, the customer wanted to steer clear from the older traditional style Defender dash, and in which case, for various reasons, there's things you wanted to change. And a lot of things get changed as a result. So this is a modern Puma style dash. This is an original equipment Puma dash that we're starting off with. You can see now it's literally being worked on, and there's a lot that goes on to this process. This is the original binnacle or fascia that would be used, laden with switches and knobs. We're gonna toss that sucker because the customer wants it to look clean. So Jack, our metal guy, whom we'll go meet in a minute, has created this in its stead. So we're no longer gonna use this crazy ordeal. And he's given me a nice blank tablet to work with, expertly bent and metal folded. A lot of things that happen. We do not just install this dashboard just for aesthetics. There are upgrades that are done, improvements to make the machine a better machine. In this case, we're installing heat and air conditioning unit behind the dashboard. So this is going to give the customer much better air conditioning as opposed to the OE system that was under here. That was really just a bolt-on add-on and wasn't very efficient, to a really modern, efficiently controlled and operated air conditioning and heating unit. So the heating elements right here, the dash, you can get plenty of great heat and plenty of great air conditioning. Now, of course, you're not going to see it. Other things that change, and people may not understand how complicated these things can get. For us, we do enough of them where we know what to work out and how to get the kinks out. In this case, this was, this is an automatic transmission with a standard shifter that you would press the button, pull it back to go into drive, and so forth. That's going to be removed completely, and over here will be installed a push button automatic transmission shifter. So push for park, push for drive. We'll show you the equipment in a later video. So improving the air conditioning and the heating system, there will be an iPad installed here to control the radio. The air conditioning will be controlled by a set of knobs here, which we can show you that equipment as well, and a couple of window switches. So we're really going to clean this up, and we're changing the way in which you ship this vehicle. The instrument cluster we're going to clean up, and we're going to walk over and going to see what Jack's in the middle of right now. So Leo, let's go take a look. So this was that instrument cluster housing that we were talking about. Jack is now replicating this out of metal. Show us what we got, Jack. Show us where that fits. So this is now taking the stead of the plastic piece, will be made in metal. So we're not keeping this at all, correct? Okay. So what about where the instruments sit, Jack? Just show us that. If I could, before we get into the coolness that Jack made, let me just quickly show you guys what an OE style dash looks like. Really nothing wrong with it, other than we wanted to put our own stamp on it. So we lean on Jack to continue making us some metal pieces, and this will be the layout of the instrument cluster once Jack gets that all installed. Pretty slick. This is what actually came out of the car. We're gonna toss that sucker. and install Jack's new handmade piece. So these are the knobs for heating and air conditioning system. Really nice. Billet aluminum. They will all illuminate. And I'll show you again the placement on the dashboard real quick. So this is the push button automatic shifter we were talking about that's going to be installed in that new Puma style dash. In that white Defender 110, it will fit on the side of the dash. This tray is laid out for the rest of his equipment that he needs. He's upgrading speaker system and stereo system. Everything's laid out, waiting for Jack the Metal Man to start fitting everything he's got there. All right, so I just want to give you guys a little bit of a better visual aid in how this will end up. The push button shifter will be here, and that will replace the stick style shifter down below. You can see there's no room for it. And to control our heating and air conditioning system, these are the knobs that we'll use. You can see the exact placement where it will be. Of course, it'll be mounted flush, and it'll be able to control temperature, fan speed, and the mode in which the heat and air conditioning come out, whether it's the defrost, the foot, or vents. Pretty slick. I know it's not always advantageous to show how the sausage is made, so to speak, but I do want to shed a little bit of light on how we even get to that process with that Puma dash. This is a brand new Puma dash installed there. Before we got to that point, there's been many days gone into getting to that point, in which case we have a beat up old Puma dash. And this is actually what we use to fit the new Puma dash in there. That way we can bang it up, we can set all the bracing behind it that holds it in place. There's a lot of work that went into it. This piece was completely mounted and installed. Then we removed it and we installed the customer's brand new plastic components. A lot of people don't realize the amount of time and effort that goes into doing something like that, to getting to that point, and the amount of things that we actually redesigned behind here. There's a lot of guts going on behind this that really help and improve the machine. So I just wanted to shed a little bit of light on it. Although it looks nice and finished, or on its way to being finished, there was a lot of time and effort that went into getting just to that point. And we still got still have a ways to go. Anyway, thank you.
Several days later.
All right, folks, so here we are. The dash has been installed. Everything fits nice and neat. Everything's been laid out and it's been cleaned up and it's ready for delivery. We have got our AC control knobs all installed. Controls our fan, controls the mode into which vents the heat or AC comes out of, and our temperature control, and it's nice because you can hide them away. We have a little button here for our light bar, as you might be able to see outside. That's really bright. We've got a light bar that goes across the entire top of the vehicle. Hazard switch, in case he's got to pull over and make a phone call. In this case, we left him a blank switch because he had thought that he might want to add some lighting, but he couldn't really dial it in exactly what he wanted, so we gave him a provision. So if he wants to add any accessories, he's already got a switch. That's nice and thoughtful. Power windows. Now in this case, we do speak with the customer and we offer them different knobs, switches, and buttons, and we let them pick and choose. So this particular customer chose this layout. I think it looks great. As far as chrome switches as opposed to black, we're happy to talk with the customer regularly and get their input. He obviously wanted the iPad, and that's why it sits here. Easy to use. We have the steering wheel that he chose. It gives it a more modern look. We had made this bezel out of stainless steel, which you folks may have seen earlier, and then we wrapped it in leather, and it's given him all his gauges, everything he needs. He's got the tachometer, a speedometer, he's got water temperature, he's even got a boost gauge because this engine is supercharged. 6.2 liter LSA Chevy V8 supercharged engine. We've got, of course, our fuel gauge and our voltmeter. We did add another little voltmeter here because it just filled in the space nice and the customer agreed on it aesthetically. Grab bars in, again wrapped in leather, looks great. We've got tweeters on the top, speakers mounted underneath. The still can access his four-wheel drive shifter, although these are all-wheel drive vehicles by nature. You can lock the differentials in, whereas these vehicles are set up to, if a wheel starts to slip, it will then grip. So it's an all-wheel drive vehicle, but you can lock them into place, which locks all four wheels all the time. You almost never need to use it because the all-wheel drive mechanism in the standard mode over to the right works really well. I mean, you can go through any snowstorm like that. Push button, automatic, it's really nice. Put it in reverse, and away we go. Back in park, and there we are. Yeah, it came out really nice. The headliner was done, and we're really looking forward to presenting this to our customer. We're really excited. I think it came out great.